Hello, good evening and welcome to the parish on Midlands 103 with myself, Kieran Feeney. I've been in Westmeath, I've been in Offaly and now I'm back down in County Laois. I'm in a village called Killeshin in South County Laois and I'm delighted to be in, well, I'll ask the owner of the pub. What pub are we in?
Midlands side here in Killeshin.
And you are?
Brendan Fitzpatrick.
Brendan, how are you keeping?
Very well, thank you.
It's great to be here and we've beautiful music, traditional Irish music in the background. Brendan, what do you do around the town? You were telling me off air you own this pub, but it's been a few generations in your family.
I wish to welcome Midland Radio to the Glenside here in Killeshin. And what do I do here? I'm the publican here in this parish. We've been here since 1896. My grandfather bought this pub for £350 in 1896 and we've been here since. Well, I'm not, but my family have. My father and my son is here as well, so we're the fourth generation here in the Glenside in Killeshin.
You'd be a great man to talk to about how Killeshin has changed and the different people in Killeshin. So I suppose I love looking back and then I look forward. How has Killeshin shaped you as a man?
There have been massive changes in Killeshin. From the time, even in my own time when I was a child, Rossmore Collieries was a big industry. Right. Miners worked from Grey Cullen and Carlow and they all passed up by here going to the mines. The carman who used to draw the coal from Rossmore mines and from Castlecomer mines to Tullow and down as far as Gorey and Newtown Barry as is known then, which is Buntlody is Newtown Barry years ago, and all those men used to drop in here for a drink on the way home.
Right.
So we had a good support from the miners. It was a big industry in this area, mining, in those years.
It must have been good crack being the focal point of attention in the pub, like.
Being in the pub as a child, we as kids hated general elections particularly. Right. Because we all had arguments and fights and all sorts of disagreements over election times. I just hated general elections. A fair day was another day when we often had a bit of a disagreement as well. The lads would go to town maybe once a year, sell cattle, and on the way home they dig up some argument with some lad or other, but it was all in next day they're all forgotten about it. Good.
What sort of characters stick out in your mind when you've been here at the epicentre of Killeshin, really? Have you any good characters that stick out?
Oh, there was some funny characters coming in here. There was Pat Mullins used to sing out funny songs, and a man by the name of Doc Hora, and he lived in Ballymiler, and he was a funny character. He was always had a witty remark. So there was many funny characters here.
You're not thinking of retiring anytime soon, are you?
Well, no. Well, I'll stay going as long as I can. I'll retire when I have to. But I'm fit and well at the moment. I'll stay going as long as I can.
And how was the wife?
She's in great form. Thank you very much. She's walking away. Like myself.
So the two of you keep this place going?
We keep it rolling as best we can, yeah.
And what sort of people are the Killeshin people now?
They're wonderful people. There's great people in Killeshin. You could not find better in any part of the world. You know, they're marvellous, good-natured, decent people in Killeshin. Yeah.
There must be a good sense of community spirit around here, Brendan.
There is indeed. I mean, if you follow what one Killeshin person is, follow what it's all. We're all one. We always were. Very close-knit people, very close-knit families in Killeshin, and one for all and all for one always were.
Memories of GAA, you must have had a good few.
GAA was always the backbone of this parish, always the backbone. We've had GAA teams for generations. In 1957 we won our first championship. That was a marvellous day for Killeshin when we won our first championship. We didn't know where they went to work for a week, and we've won several championships since.
We have a photograph here and you were talking about generations, so tell me who's in this photograph.
Yeah, in that photograph that was my father and myself and my son Patrick.
And when was that taken?
Yeah, that was taken in 1996, the year of our 100th anniversary. The year of our 100th anniversary, that was taken in October, and sadly he passed away in December.
Was he a good man?
No, sure, he was a great man. He was a great man in his own way.
Now I'm joined by a man sitting beside Brendan. Brendan can relax now and sup his pint. He was under pressure there for 5 minutes by sound. Mark, how are you doing?
Not too bad, no, not too bad at all.
Talk about pressure. You're the chairman of the local GAA club, but I had the crack with you last week. How's it going now?
Sure, things have relaxed now. The excitement is, well, I suppose in one way it's only starting since we got to know that Tony Cascarino was the new Bainisteoir for the coming year, so I think things is going fairly well now as we head on for the match, I suppose, and the challenge is on Monday. A lot of this work is down to the committee in the GAA, you know, they've It's a 26-man committee, and I suppose Paul was probably the main man behind the whole yoke. I suppose the committee got behind it then, and the work that's being done is it's unbelievable. Like,
your own background, Mark, you're a Killeshin man born and bred. I take it your parents are too.
Oh yeah, my parents, grandparents, born and bred, I suppose. You know, there's the other side of the parish is called Gracullen. I have a few family members in there as well. So,
how does Gracullen get on with Killeshin?
Sure. You're not really asking. You're not asking a good man about that one. You know, there's a good bit of rivalry there, and
you have an understanding wife. Then you have to.
Yes. Yeah, she understands. She's a GAA woman as well, so she'll understand that and gone a few nights of the week. All right.
Mark, from a younger man's point of view, what was it like growing up in Killeshin village?
But I suppose it's like what Brendan said. You know, we all stick together here in Killeshin. It's all for one and one for all, as Brendan said there a few minutes ago, and it's kind of a die-hard place, really. You know, it's stick together no matter what goes on. You know, so.
I love the emblem on your top. It looks like an arch. Can you give me a bit of history to that, seeing that you are the chairman, or is that putting you on the spot?
Basically, it's the Romanesque doorway. It was, as far as I know, but I think I know anyway, it's an old church just half a mile up the road there that it was burnt a good few years ago as well. So I think maybe Brendan might know a bit more about that, the history of
Brendan, you're still here. Brendan, have you got more history on this logo on your jersey?
Old Catholic Church in Killeshin. Actually, took in Killeshin and part of Carlow as well. Most of Carlow was involved in the parish of Killeshin. There were a lot of Carlow people buried up there in Killeshin, but that's over 400 years ago since that church was operating. It was thatched, I believe, and it was burned. I think what they say it was burned by Cromwell in those years, so it goes back a long time.
I'll leave it at this, Mark. You better say hello to your wife and 4 kids, so give them a shout there.
Yeah, I'd just like to say hello to Chloe, Leah, Abby and Callum and my Mrs Nicola, and I suppose all the rest of my family, my grandmother, my grandfather, and sure anyone else that's listening. Thanks very much.
You're a very special man, Mark. That's the first time I ever played a proper request on the show, and I've been doing it for 2 years.
Sure, if you don't say hello to them, you know yourself. I'm out in the pub late at night here, so at least you know I'm in the pub anyway. That's the main thing.
Ready for TV coverage and all this?
Sure, look, I'm prepared for a long time now, I suppose. It's only a matter of time before I do go on that television, so I suppose they'll be looking for autographs off me and not Tony Cascarino.
Mark, you've been a good sport. Thanks for talking to me.
Thanks very much.
Brendan, I'll leave the last word with you. We're here in your pub, we're having a bit of crack. How do you think Killeshin's going to go as a parish in the next few years, as a parish in itself? It'll keep going, it's strong.
I think if it expand, well, it might to a slower rate than has been the last 10 years, but I think it will still expand and increase. And it actually is the place to live in the Carlow area at the moment. Everybody wants to live out in Killeshin.
It's beautiful landscape around here. Gorgeous.
It's a very popular area.
Brendan, it's great to be in your pub. Thanks a lot for inviting me down, and the best of luck with everything.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you very much. And you're very welcome. I hope to see you again.
You will. Joined by 2 strong, fit, healthy men, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves. And I've heard on the QT that this is an ex-Killeshin footballer and an ex-County Laois footballer. So how are you doing, and what's your name?
Liam Dorn, my name, has been for the last 70 odd years.
You're a fine looking man for that age.
Well, hard work and hardship is a great recipe.
And there's a man to the right here. How are you?
I'm fine, mind you. Michal Wayne is my name.
How are you doing, Michal?
Sure. I can't complain. I could complain, but I'm gives me hanging Furbush, it won't.
How is life in Killeshin these days, lads, and how is life treating you?
I couldn't be better. I'm doing what I did all my life, working hard.
What do you work as?
A farmer, hard-working farmer. All farmers are hard workers.
You're living a blissfully happy marriage anyway.
Oh yes, I'll be actually 40-year married to coming Saturday.
Oh, very good, congratulations. What are you doing for the big day?
What am I doing? That's a secret.
So Michal's wife, if you're listening, you're in for a nice surprise.
Oh yeah, no, we're quite happy, like as I said, so I'm partly retired, like I don't work every day now, I do odd bits of trips, and that's the way it is. I have enough of time spent on the road.
You're Killeshin men. What's your memories of growing up in Killeshin, lads? I'll come to you first.
Well, I suppose seeing the roads here when the roads weren't potholes in them and horses' cars and no motor cars on the roads. And eventually we got good roads and industry took over, and it's a different scenario now.
I come from a family of 13. My father died at the age of 67, or at 45.
Right.
So with the results, I started work at the age actually of 10. And when I would come home from school in the evenings, I would be going off to a farmer to do a bit of work, and you'd work there till 10 or 11 o'clock at night. That time to get a few bob to keep the house going.
Was it a tough life, Micheál?
Well, it was a tough life, but at the same time, we enjoyed it. There was no great pressure. I lived beside this man here. He was a neighbour of ours. And the only good thing I would always say at that time, there was wonderful neighbours. We lived beside Mrs. Regan and this man's mother, Mrs. Doran. We were never hungry or cold, never. We hadn't money. We could go out and there could be 14 patches in the backside of your trousers, but you still were fed and everything because you had good neighbours. But them were the times, but we enjoyed them. Like as we got up, every one of us done well for one another, and that was the way it was like. We had small shops. You go in, you got your week's groceries, you had a van passing the road, and you swapped your eggs for your maybe sliced pan or your pan loaf and your bit of butter, and that's the way people lived. And got on. There's so many people working and helping out. Like if you were here last Saturday and go over to the football field, I would reckon there was 100 people working over there. Like there was often less than O'Moore Park at a match.
Does that make you proud?
Of course it does. Like I mean, even though I live in Graigholland on the border, I'm born in Killeshin all my life and I'm still a Killeshin man. I mean, I don't even go to Mass in Graigholland.
Do you go to Mass at all?
I come out, I do, I've no bones about saying that. I like to come out, this is my end of the parish.
This is where your roots are?
Yes. But that time was the great game, was the game of Skittles. Skittles was 6 bits of timber about that height, and you placed them around on the road, and you'd fire one which would be about a foot long to see could you take the whole 6 out of it at the one time. But you played that on the middle of the road, so that'll tell you what traffic was on it.
None.
You go out there now and say, can you play a game of Skittles?
What sort of memories do you have from back in the day then of how Laois GAA was and going up to matches and stuff?
I sure have great memories. You know, it was great people. There was great people with Laois, and there was great people here in Killeshin that time. I have great memories of football. And I played with lads here, I suppose, never played never tugged out in the dressing room. And there wasn't a word out of them. We were all like that when they started off, cycle here to a match and maybe carry a lad on the crossbar. Oh God, I'll keep going while I'm able anyway. I know now I have 2 new knees and a new lease of life.
How were the knees working out for you?
Well, I got nearly 70 years over the first 2. I don't know.
Geez, you might get another 70.
If I hope I get a good few anyway. I won't be. I won't be looking for a full 70 now. But
You got great mileage out of them. Well, I tap them.
oh God, you can, yeah.
They feel good.
They're good, yeah.
I reckon you're going to last till 105.
Oh, what did they get when they get to 100?
I think the president sends you out €10 or something.
Ah, Christ, would it be worth waiting for that?
I love it. Micheál, it's been great meeting you. The best of luck with this surprise for your wife next week. And it's on radio now, so you better treat her well.
Yeah, we will have to wait and see.
Well, listen,
After Saturday we'll see.
I'll be back down at some stage. Very nice to meet you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Micheál.
Thank you.